What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. We have some big news about the Fantastic Four first steps today. We're going to be talking about the post-credit scene and the report that Chris Evans is going to be returning in the Fantastic Four First Steps film. And it looks like recently, Marvel Studios has done some test screenings for the Fantastic Four. This is reportedly how we are finding out this new information. Now, we knew Chris Evans was going to be making a return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was reported by Deadline months ago. And although he has denied this report, that doesn't really mean anything. He's obviously not going to say, yep, I'm returning to the MCU. That's just not going to happen. But recently, when Marvel Studios did their Avengers Doomsday production video / casting announcement, we saw many actors' names who we believed were done playing their respective characters get officially announced by Marvel Studios to be returning to the MCU in Avengers Doomsday. Names like Patrick Stewart returning as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cummings as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn, Mystique, and my personal favorite announcement of them all, James Marsden returning as Cyclops. And we know that there's going to be another casting announcement for Avengers Doomsday. Marvel Studios basically confirmed this already. So did Robert Downey Jr. and The Hollywood Reporter. So Chris Evans' name could pop up in the next casting announcement, but reportedly, Chris Evans is going to first appear in the Fantastic Four First Steps. And I believe that this might tie into the post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four because we've heard the Fantastic Four First Steps post-credit scene will be a Doctor Doom post-credit scene, teasing what is to come, which does make a lot of sense and honestly is something that is very needed right now. And showing Doom along with Chris Evans, whichever character he may be playing, because there's no guarantee he's playing Captain America again. In fact, we already saw him come back to the MCU as a different character, as the Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine. So who is he playing? We're unsure, but the report is he's returning, and showing that he's returning in the post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four First Steps alongside Doom would get people super excited for what is to come in Avengers Doomsday. Because unless Marvel Studios is filming right now a secret movie, the next project after Fantastic Four is Avengers Doomsday. So clearly they do need a big tease going forward. They do have to introduce Doctor Doom into the MCU, because if they don't, they're going to go right into an Avengers movie that's called Doomsday without the main character being introduced in the MCU yet. That's another reason why they're starting to do all of this promotion and marketing with the production announcement showing Robert Downey Jr. again, because they need the audience, the population, to know Robert Downey Jr. is back and the character that he's going to be playing is Doctor Doom. And according to reports, he is going to have a team. Now, this team isn't necessarily going to be evil, and from what we've heard, Doctor Doom himself isn't necessarily evil, at least not at first. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's first focus on Chris Evans, because there are actually many different ways that he could appear in the Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, the post-credit scene, him showing up alongside Doctor Doom, is an obvious one that does work. Could you imagine the fans who go and see Fantastic Four First Steps and they go to watch the post-credit scene and they don't know that Robert Downey Jr. is returning yet, and the post-credit scene shows Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, Captain America, and Iron Man both returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That would get people absolutely hyped, and it would make them have to go see Avengers Doomsday. They would need to go see that because it's such a big tease. It would work, but that's not the only way that Chris Evans could appear. We do know that the Fantastic Four First Steps takes place in an alternate universe, which I've always thought was a great idea because we're in the multiverse saga right now, and it's a really cool idea to get the perspective of the multiverse from a different universe. So we could really see how different some of these universes are. So the Fantastic Four takes place in a different universe, and from what we've heard from multiple different reports, there are going to be other heroes in this universe. Now, we're not sure which heroes are going to be showing up. There was some leaked concept art for the Fantastic Four, and Doomsday and Secret Wars as well, but specifically for the Fantastic Four, it showed Sue Storm and her son, Franklin Richards. He was a baby, and it looked like he was wearing a Spider-Man pajama set. Like, if you take a look at it, it really is unmistakably a Spider-Man PJ set. So that could imply that Spider-Man is a big hero in the Fantastic Four's universe. Now, keep in mind, this is concept art. It might not make it to the big screen, but clearly it backs up all the reports that there are other heroes in the Fantastic Four's universe. So Chris Evans might be returning as one of those heroes. Perhaps they do have a Captain America in their universe. That would be really cool to see because yes, Chris Evans is returning, but it sounds like the odds of him returning as an actual Captain America are pretty low. I'm talking about being exactly the same as we saw him in the MCU. If he returns as Captain America, it sounds like he's going to be Nomad or maybe Captain Hydra or a different version. But in the Fantastic Four's universe, perhaps we could get that classic Captain America again before him returning yet again as a different character. So one option is Chris Evans returns to make a cameo as Captain America or another hero. It's an alternate universe, so perhaps he plays a different hero, but that doesn't fully get him involved with what's to come, which is why a post-credit scene probably makes more sense. From what we've heard, Doctor Doom in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when he's introduced in Avengers Doomsday, will sort of divide the Avengers. We've heard that he's going to have his own team, and that Doctor Doom isn't necessarily evil. He hates Kang and the TVA and what they have done. And based on previous reports, what they did is keep Kang out of the 616 sacred timeline. The original script reportedly had Kang admitting that he kept Doctor Doom out of the main 616 universe and kind of every universe out there that other Kangs were in because he was a big threat to Kang. And they were supposed to mention that either in Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, back when it was originally Kang still the main villain, so they could set up Doctor Doom to be the main villain of the next saga, the Mutant Saga. But according to reports, they are still going to keep some of that original idea, making Doom hate Kang and the TVA for what they have done, keeping him at bay for a very long time, and sheltering the main 616 universe, the sacred timeline. So Doom is trying to get to Loki and the TVA because he believes that he can save the multiverse. On his journey, when he runs into some of the Avengers and the X-Men, I'm sure as well, his cause, trying to save the multiverse, is going to get him some followers, people who agree with him and want to save the multiverse. The apparent divide is going to be how he's going about saving the multiverse, and that's why some of the other Avengers and other X-Men are going to oppose him. And that's why putting Chris Evans in the post-credit scene with Doctor Doom makes sense. He could be a variant of Captain America, or anybody else, who agrees with what Doctor Doom is trying to do, and he sides with him. And it's not just going to be Chris Evans, apparently. There are going to be other heroes that are with him as well. So showing Doctor Doom and the fact that he has a team in the post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four First Steps would not only get people just crazy excited, but it would show that Doctor Doom does have a multiversal team. So when he shows up in Avengers Doomsday, it's not just him, but it's him with his own army. So this makes sense because we've heard from many different insiders that the post-credit scene is going to set up Doctor Doom. And now we're hearing from the insider MyTimeToShineHello that Chris Evans is going to be appearing in the Fantastic Four First Steps. And what makes the most sense seems to be him appearing in that post-credit scene with Doctor Doom, because that brings him into the overall bigger story that is Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. If he appears just as a cameo as another superhero within that universe, that's just a quick cameo and might not bring him into the overall bigger picture. And Deadline reported he's in Avengers Doomsday. So the post-credit scene, I believe, makes the most sense, but go ahead, you let me know what you think in the comments down below. And does this excite you? Let us know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, rumors, or leaks. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.